Alrighty, let's get her started. Hope everyone's doing well today. So I caught this stream live, and I gotta tell you guys, what the hell? Seriously, what the hell? What the hell? This is what is very frustrating about YouTube apologetics and siloed communities and audiences. And here, we're going to watch this lovely specimen misrepresent the situation, misrepresent good scholarship, and basically lie for Jesus. So if you're here for that, you're welcome.
Today, we're going to discuss pretty important topics and something I came upon on David Falk's channel. And David Falk runs a channel called Ancient Egypt and the Bible. Who is David Falk? He's an accomplished Egyptologist who's active in the Christian YouTube community.
Yes, he's a Christian apologist that knows a shit ton about Egypt because he studied a lot about Egypt. Okay, cool.
He often engages in debates on his beliefs about the Exodus, Moses, and the Bible. He's been on my channel, and I'm very appreciative for that. He received his PhD from the University of Liverpool in Egyptology. He wrote a dissertation entitled Ritual Processional Furniture, a Material and Religious Phenomenon in Egypt, which established a new cultural context baseline for rituals by examining the material culture of temple furniture. He holds 3 master's degrees. He has a master's in divinity and a master's in Near Eastern and Biblical Archaeology and Languages from Trinity International University, and
a Christian university.
Third master's degree in Near and Middle Eastern civilizations from the University of Toronto. His BA in philosophy is from the University of British Columbia. So the bottom line is Dr. Falk is quite qualified to discuss all kinds of issues with respect to the Bible.
So his primary focus is to be an Egyptologist and scholar all things Egypt and ancient Near East. Okay, sure, fine. Okay, we'll grant that. Now, when you have credentials like this and you decide that you are going to platform your brain, your professional intelligence, and your studies and communicate that to the world, it's hard to divorce the platform you're using to disseminate that information from your professional life elsewhere. Because you're the one choosing to intertwine those things. You are positioning yourself as an expert who's using those professional resources from private institutions and disseminating that work to the general public. You're creating a relationship between those two things that makes it difficult to disentangle one from the other. Here's an example. Imagine you are a medical practitioner of any kind. Let's go any kind. Or a general surgeon. You have done your due diligence. You've studied everything you can at, Harvard, and you did an awesome residency. You are the best general surgeon there could possibly be. And then you go and decide, well, I'm going to open a free surgery clinic. It's just on the side. It has nothing to do with my work at the hospital, but it's a free surgery clinic and anyone who can come there and get procedures from me. And then you go and botch a surgery there. Do you think the hospital should question your practice if you botch it at the free clinic that you're running? Yeah, of course. Of course. It's an ethical mess. Whoa, you're using your talents, your abilities, your information and resources. Oh, let's say you're also taking stuff from the hospital to use at your free clinic, right? That's what these scholars are basically doing with just intellectual stuff. Doesn't that bring a little bit into question your surgical work elsewhere? If you are taking public stances on other scholars and you're making money off of it on YouTube, I don't make any money doing this. That's for damn sure. But if you're making money and you're doing professional critiques on other scholars, how do you disentangle your recorded opinions from your written ones? What is really the difference? And especially when you position your channel, not USJ, David's, when David positions his channel as an avenue and a gateway into the scholarship that he supposedly has, all those professional resources. He's created this entanglement problem for himself. I don't come onto my channel and give you guys web development advice that's questionable or even sound. I just don't care to do that because that's not what my channel's for. I don't have an entanglement with my professional life and my personal comments and thoughts and ideas on the Bible. It doesn't exist. But David here is swinging his letters after his name around on YouTube, positioning himself as an expert in the field. So when he makes statements about scholars, he's publicly airing his true and honest opinions about their work, their credentials. He's created the professional entanglement. So boo fucking who if he says something off color, because he is making his platform professional. It's part of his resume now. Unless he wants to stop talking about his Egyptian scholarship or ancient Near Eastern credentials on his channel, to disentangle this, where he can just say, my views and opinions are not shared by the institutions that I'm employed for, which could go a long way to help his dumbass out. But no. He dug his own fucking hole.
And the ancient Near East, and he does. That's one of the things that he does on his channel. He likes to discuss that, and he has a lot of people who are following him. So, for example, last night he made a about 4-hour video, and I listened to it. I actually sped it up a little bit so I could do that on my walk. But I listened to it because I was wondering if he was going to address the big controversy that's been going on lately. And he did somewhat addressed it, but he didn't really get into it too much. And so I want to talk.
Well, maybe he's trying not to dig his hole deeper.
A little bit about that. And before I do, I want to say hi to anybody who might be in the chat. I see that I had some comments here prior to beginning this, but those comments are no longer there on the chat that I'm looking at. So let me go ahead and talk about this. So basically what happened was a week ago on Friday, David
he exposed himself as a dumbass.
Made a YouTube video that he always does every Friday night. In fact, he always does it late night. In my time zone, it's super, super late. So I always have to wait till the next day to watch it. But he does it, and he gets a lot of people who ask him questions about the Egypt and about the Bible and a lot of different things like that he has a lot of knowledge on. And so what he did was he had somebody ask him a question about Dr.
I can't pronounce her name.
Francesca. And I'm not very good at saying last names, so I sort of hesitate on saying her last name. But he made a comment about Dr. Francesca. Now, she works at the University.
Everybody say it with me now. Stravlakapulu.
University of Exeter. She's over in the United Kingdom.
How hard was that?
She apparently has been an atheist for a very long time. I think she said she's always been an atheist, if I listened to her properly. He called her fringe, and he also made a couple, I would say, regrettable comments about her physical appearance. And
we agree there. I pointed this out in SJ's live chat that I agree. That is definitely a regrettable comment.
The reason I say those are regrettable and that he did apologize for those comments is because people in the atheist community sort of jumped onto these comments. And
Christians did too, SJ. Christians did not like what David said. Not just the atheists. You're going to create an us versus them bullshit narrative to say, oh, the David's being attacked by those mean atheists.
And what they did is then they wrote a letter to his university affiliation. So he was affiliated at the University of Vancouver School of Theology.
So the atheists didn't write the letter. Derek did nothing. Dan responded first. I don't think that he wrote the letter. He might have signed it. And Dan's a Christian. Or, well, depends who you ask, I guess. Kip, Dr. Kill, didn't write a letter. Maybe he signed it, but he didn't start it. So you gonna lie for Jesus? You doing that right now? Okay. Jerome, let me break it down for you. David Marshmallow Falk, ponytail Princess Bride guy, he decided, not Princess Bride, what was I thinking about? Doesn't matter. He decided that it would be okay to say that Francesca Stavrakopoulou was theological window dressing. That she does theology by the cup size. Now, that people are using the word misogyny, which if you're intimidated by smart women, as Dave said, yeah, that's kind of misogynistic, right? How about just sexist? Can we just say sexist? It's just a bit sexist and distasteful. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Or just the Vancouver School of Theology. He had an affiliation there. It was a non-paid position, but he was probably able to access library materials and that kind of thing from that particular position. And his wife, Kiara, also had a position at the university in the same way as research associate.
Yeah, she was charitably given one. I don't know what she did to necessarily earn it.
So what happened was a bunch of atheists led by people like Dan McClelland and others decided
Dan's not an atheist.
To write this long letter
lying for Jesus,
where they said that he should have his
Derek didn't write it.
Presence at that university revoked. And it seemed like the president jumped on this quite quickly. In fact, it was shocking for me to see a university react in such a speedy manner.
Welcome to the world of social media, where the shit you say as a professional, using your professional opinions and your demeanor and your biases come out, there are going to be consequences. You know, we hold well, in America, maybe not so much. I don't know. But people do get run through the gutter when they say dumb shit and they're of public import, right? Right? And no, Peter W., no, they didn't get him fired. They petitioned this university that granted him access to scholarly materials to deny that access, to revoke those credentials. But regardless, whoever started the letter, it wasn't Derek, it wasn't Kip, and it probably wasn't Dan, but if it was Dan, he's a Christian. So you're just wrong, SJ. Jesus. Repent for misrepresenting what's going on. Can you do that? No, probably not. She don't watch my channel.
She was quite shocked. In my university, it would take a while. People would discuss these issues. They would consider what reactions would be from the university community. They would consider the trustees and what the trustees want in particular decisions.
I posed a hypothetical to SJ in the chat, and one of her mods didn't like it. She told me to come back when I can use logical arguments. So my question was, how many times can I talk about your boobs before it's impolite or misplaced or regrettable? If the answer to that question is 0, then I think we're in agreement that if I'm going to position myself as a professional YouTuber, right? Before you're going to consider what I have to say is valuable, if I can't make commentary about your physical appearance, to question your credentials, to question your character, or why you're on the platform, you shouldn't be able to do that to me, right? That's just an ad hominem, bad taste way to go about things. It is unprofessional. It is unscholarly. It is dumb. It is not logical, but that's the point of the question. It helps you break down that dissonance of what we're actually talking about. God.
Decisions. That's why the president would probably also confer with the trustees. There would be meetings, discussions, a lot of different things like that to be sure that the person was given a very fair assessment of exactly what he said and whether it would be considered a stray remark or if it would be considered something that was quite prevalent in his personality. Now, what I can
So, how about hypotheticals are bad? Yeah, that's how Christians usually respond. Or how about what if yeah, and Jonathan, that's a great point. Why is SJ comparing a tenured, positioned, paid professor with an unpaid affiliate, right? Like, it's kind of like having like let's say like, Kanye is like your he's really into the rap music you make, right? But you're not paying him to say that. You're not excited that he's endorsing you. You're like, nope, gonna distance myself from that. I don't want to have anything to do with that. And you're totally within your rights to do that, especially when, makes a comment like, Hitler had something right. You want to distance yourself from that. Okay, Yee. I don't want to have anything to do with Yee. If Yee watches my channel, I'd be like, great. He can like, comment, subscribe, do his thing, but I don't want to have anything to do with him. If he's going to go out and say, Nitty's great, I'll be like, nope, I never paid him to say that. Right? I'm going to cut ties there because he's off the wall, bonkers. It doesn't matter how many stray comments he makes. One is enough for me. Maybe my standards are just higher than SJ's.
can say is the word misogyny, that was the accusation, means hatred of women. That's the literal meaning. Miso means hatred. And the idea that David Falk hates women is absurd. He doesn't hate women. He loves women. And I'm sure he does. He loves his wife.
Trump doesn't hate women. He loves women. I mean, he really loves them. Okay. I think you don't quite understand what people mean when they're so there are dictionary definitions to words. We all get that. You can use the Google machine. You open a book and find a textbook definition. That's not hard. But there's this pesky thing called, I don't know, cultural context, where words have meanings in different contexts and social settings and discussions. So when you're saying someone is a misogynist, you're not saying that they literally, that every time they see someone that looks like a woman, they just flip their shit. No, connotations. The connotation is that this person has disdain for women, disregard for women that aren't their special women, which she's going to go ahead and list here.
His book right here that I have right in front of me called Ancient Egypt, the Ark of the Covenant in its Egyptian context, an illustrated journey. If you go to the very first
his coffee table book, as he calls it,
couple of pages, who does he devote it to? He says, to my wife, Kiara, whose love, faith, and editorial skill.
Yes. Trump He's married. He's got to love women. He's got to be so respectful to women. I mean, Muhammad, he had 11 wives. I mean, the dude loved pussy. I'm sorry, he loved women. This argument is bad, SJ. Don't say because someone is married, they love women.
Skills have always supported me, and to Bill and Cindy Kozel, whose loving generosity has kept this research alive over the years. So,
okay, then you have a special friend woman. They're in an inner circle. It's Solomon. Yeah, he really loved women if we believe the biblical account, right? God.
he's devoting this to his wife. Clearly, he has a love for women. So, trying to say that he is a misogynist.
No. So connotative misogynists can love particular women, but the rest of them suck. Duh.
And painting him as if that's his entire personality is a flawed idea. It's flawed. And it's really not fair. And it's shocking to me that this university, this Vancouver School of Theology, would make such a rash decision.
It's not a rash decision to get rid of a racist in your life. It's not a rash decision to get rid of a sexist. If their views publicly espoused on their place to declare their professional studies are problematic. It's not a rash decision. It's a simple one. They're covered in shit over there. Do I want to give them a big old hug and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you're a part of our organization. Yeah, you got a little poop on you, but it's okay. We'll take you with your poop." No. Get that shit out of here.
Within minutes of receiving a letter. And not only did they make the decision about Dr. Falk, they made it about his wife. So because his wife supports him, she is the producer of his channel, they've also decided to revoke her status at Vancouver School of Theology. So, which leads me to think that they aren't acting in very good faith there or as good Christians, because one of the principles that Christians are supposed to embrace is the principle of charity.
Okay, so like I said in her live chat, how many times can I talk about her boobs before it's impolite in a professional setting? The answer to that question, everybody knows, is 0. It's impolite. It doesn't belong in a professional, logical, scholarly discussion ever. Period. End of statement. If I position this channel as a place to espouse academic views, trusted scholarship, and intellectual superiority, I would shut up about the titty, dicks, and vaginas. Maybe. Unless it became relevant to like circumcision or something. Then we'll start talking about Yahweh's love of the snipped weens. But where was I going with that?
In other words, if someone made a bad remark, said something that is unfortunate, it's very unfortunate that he said that, then it's one of those things that you would want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You would realize, is this something that is...
There's a concept in Christian circles too of, I don't know, God's discipline much or accountability, right? Like if, I've got an uncle and my kids go visit that uncle and he's using the N-word, right? It's like, well, okay, he used it this one time. I forgive him, but maybe, I don't know, less time with the kids. Making off the cuff comments about breast sizes on your professional scholarly channel. How maybe they want to distance themselves from someone who's willing to do that. I mean, maybe. Just maybe.
Part of the person's character? Do we have an abundance of these kind of remarks? Or is this sort of an offhand, one-time, sort of one-off thing? Now, I would say I've never heard David make remarks like that. So I think it's an offhand, one-off thing. I don't think that is part of his character. But then we have to get into some of the other issues that are being presented. Now,
sometimes, I don't know if you know this, SJ, but sometimes people put on a character for YouTube, and sometimes they're really good at staying in character. But other times, they're not good. They let it slide a little bit. They relax. They're in their space, their zone, with their people. The character, the facade comes down a bit. When it's just the guys, just the Theo bros, we can say what we really think and feel. I don't know if you know that. Everyone's just always the same all the time. In fact, there's no such thing as like a TV actor to SJ. Those people are really those people when they're in the show. Maybe David's just been good. He's been on his P's and Q's. And then he let his guard down and said some shit.
Here's what Isaiah said. Isaiah said, actually, first we have something. Isaiah said a really important quote is that, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So
SJ, you think, now she's quoting Isaiah saying that there's an inversion of morality here, that this whole Falk situation is due to an inversion of morality. Let's go back and here, just so I'm not misrepresenting the argument she's trying to make, and I about vomited my lunch up.
I think that is part of his character. But then we have to get into some of the other issues that are being presented. Now, here's what Isaiah said. Isaiah said, actually, first we have something. Isaiah said a really important quote is that, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So we asked ourselves, what is evil? And what do we perceive as evil? And does Dr. Francesca's research, from what you can see here, now you see some of the titles of the video.
So, okay, I think I know why she's doing that quote. She's doing that quote to say that Francesca's research is an inversion of God's morality. She's not saying, I don't think she's trying to say that the response to Falk's comments is an inversion of morality, because I think if she came on this channel right now, she would agree with me that we shouldn't judge people on their attractiveness. The quality of their work has nothing to do with their attractiveness. I don't think the atheist morality is inverted there. Do you, SJ? And we all know what Nitty loves here. I'm always down for commenting, but no, I'm not. I'm not on this channel. I will not be a sexist, depraved, basement dwelling dirkweed. But if she's gonna claim that Francesca's research is an inversion of morality, then okay, so someone sincerely looking at the ancient Near Eastern texts, sincerely doing their diligence to understand ancient languages, the surrounding cultures, that's an inversion of God's morality? Tangela, go back and watch the beginning of this video, and you'll see what the problem is. The problem is misrepresenting the Falk situation. That's what kicked this stream off. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to talk much more about it because she's going to go into criticizing Francesca's work, probably having never read it herself. And, I'm not lying for Satan. If I were lying for Satan, I would just say I'm a Christian again, Otangelo. I'd start Nitty the Converted. And I would just be like, Cameron Bertuzzi, I was wrong about you. I was wrong about Jesus. I was wrong about this whole thing. Can I please come on your channel and show you how how depraved the atheist community is, and how wonderful and loving and awesome you guys are over here at Capturing Christianity. Just wrap me in the shroud and coddle me all day and night, Cameron. I want to just rub your hair gel into my hair, and we'll look deep into each other's eyes on a live stream while you space out and a philosopher is talking in the background. I just can't wait. That would be lying for Satan, Otangelo. Maybe I do have a secret Cameron kink. Oh dear. Is BS gonna clip that? Yeah, and I'd get 400 patrons along the way. It'd be so good. No, I'm just trying to represent rubbing beards. Fenton, I can't grow a beard to here's what Jesus will come back before I grow a beard. Okay? That's how light Gary Habermas will finish his book before I grow a beard. So where were we going? Oh yeah. I'm trying to represent the situation correctly because SJ completely misrepresented the situation, and I think she's a better person than this. That charity and accountability are not mutually exclusive. They can go hand in hand. You can be charitable and forgiving to someone's remarks, but then you let them endure consequences for those remarks, especially when they want to position themselves as someone with intellectual superiority, with credentials. They're asking to be held accountable, right? Or no, or should people just be, going willy-nilly with their platform, especially when they marry it to their profession? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe you do. So that's it. That's what I had to say about that. So I took her original Bible quote out of context of yeah, James, you're totally right. Rock and hard place. So basically, she just admits Falk's comments are regrettable, but then is like, oh, let's wrap him in the Shrouded Turin and bring him back in. It's okay. It was just an off comment. Just to help the poor baby. Gross. But we agree, right? And in other contexts, this is just not acceptable behavior, and people would be held accountable. Like in my place of work, I can't say, oh man, looks like Steve hired another bimbo for accounting. Get my ass fired. Jesus. So there you go. I'm glad to have Otangelo in the audience. And I'm glad to have Tux and James here. It's a wonderful Saturday. A typical Saturday. To be fair, it's a little rough to lose jobs based on 1 minute of speech, but he's going to have to hold to that. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Jerome. In America, most employers are at-will employers. You could get yourself fired in 4 seconds if you put enough racist or homophobic slurs together in one sentence. That's called an HR violation. Yeah, and Jonathan is right. It wasn't even a job. He didn't even lose a job. Right? It's basically like, how long do you want to be friends with a sexist? That's the dilemma that this university is put in. How long are we going to tolerate someone who uses their credentials to throw their weight around in the public sector and be a sexist? If the answer is zero tolerance, then that's it. We just have to respect that that private institution. I wouldn't have fired him. I would have given him a permanent job working under dominant women in the gender studies department. Or just a warning. If it were an employment, you could get away with a warning. But or revokings of privileges, withheld wages or raises, certainly. Like that happened not long ago at my own place of employment. Someone made a sexist comment, and due to that comment, it was seconds long, they were withheld a raise. Because now we have to make sure that that person doesn't operate with their sexist bias in the workplace. Simple as that. Now imagine that's just someone you're meeting on the street, and you're trying to give them a lot of help and resources, and then your female friend walks up and they're like, "What's that bitch doing here?" "Oh, you got a little hot mama there. You got are you her sugar daddy? Because that's her place?" No, you'd be like, "Whoa, I'm not so sure I want to help you anymore. I'm not just going to give you my resources if you're going to treat my respected colleague this way." I'm like, "No, that's actually my secretary. I don't want you to talk to her that way." Duh. Why is this so hard? Seriously. Anyway, does anyone want to come on and banter with me? I'm not going to do a debate me bro hour here. I got maybe 10-15 minutes to hang out before my kids come home and make this a big noisy mess. So if you want to come in, there's a link in the chat. I'm not going to pin it because this is going to be shorty. But you can come in. Meanwhile, tonight I'll probably do a response to a response to a response to the Atheist Network group about Oz. I'm planning on talking about someone that has some issues with indoctrination. And it was a channel that our lovely friend Bready Boy Keen recommends. So it's a little channel. I feel bad a little bit trying to pick on this little guy because he doesn't have many subs, but he made some claims that made me laugh and a little sad. So we'll talk about that later today when my kids are asleep. But yeah, if anyone wants to shoot the shit for 10-15 minutes until my kids bust on up in here, we can. What else is going on this week? I'm hoping to do you guys want me to finish the Clement series? I was like 60% of the way through that book. We're on like chapter 30 something. Thinking about finishing that this week too. Doing commentary on what early Christians were willing to write down as their beliefs. What up, Kenny? Hey, Cameron. I highly recommend you, if you want to have a bit of colorful language, go back and listen to the beginning. Yeah, it was something today. Something. And even Dr. Kip made an appearance in the live chat, which was fun. And so did Digital Hammurabi, Dr. Josh. Oh, Tux is working. Okay. Otherwise, Tux would be here. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up for now before my kids bust on up in here. So thank you all for listening. But, you know, if you're a Christian listening, do your homework. Don't misrepresent what's happening in the academic world. Don't misrepresent the actions of people like Derek and Dr. Kip. Just don't. Just don't do that. Because otherwise, you're going to get people like me who are listening in your chat, who are listening on YouTube, who will just say, you're lying. You're misrepresenting this. Yes, some prominent atheists had some things to say about Falk's comments. Were they responsible for that disassociation? Nope. Nope. And no. Did they elevate the discussion? Sure. Yeah. Did they escalate it? Absolutely. Because that's what we do. That's what content creators do. If you don't like it, you know what to do. Delete your channel. But, you know, you're escalating it too, right? Because that's what we do. We're content creators. We talk about each other. Anyway, this was fun. And that's Nitty. We'll catch you tonight. Bye.